Oh, it's still spinning?
We're good.
Oh, we're good. Okay.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Hey, welcome to Ask Rosa Live with Chef Sam.
Hey, you guys. How y'all doing? Happy spring. It's the first official day of spring, so we are jumping right into that with no delay. But before we get started, Rosa, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Doing good. To everybody who's been following, I recently got married, so thank you all for all the love, especially from Food Link. I love the support. And I chose to do bow tie pasta because I just got married. So that's the pasta I chose to do with this one. But as you know, when we go to the store, there's like 30 different types of pastas out there. You don't have to use bow tie in this application. I just thought it would be funny to use bow tie. You can use penne, macaroni. You can do spiral noodles. You can just do any noodle that's not spaghetti. No long noodle in this application. Short pasta. And again, if you can't find even anything remotely close, get macaroni.
You just want to use a pasta that has ridges or somewhere to hold the sauce and the flavor.
Yes. And also, I already cooked the pasta and I have it chilled. So this is another kind of thinking ahead plan. If you think you're going to have pasta in the next, couple days, cook your pasta off. Your cooked pasta will last 3 days in your fridge if it's covered and sealed with a little bit of oil. So if you think you got pasta coming up in the next few days and you don't really have the time to pull out the boiling pot of water, do it on your spare time, and I'll show you how to reheat that during the cooking process. But thanks for tuning in. This is awesome. We'll talk about the vegetables we have and get in a little bit more depth on certain lemons that we're using. But yeah, so we have spinach. We have some diced bell pepper. Yellow. If you can't find yellow, you can get red. Green's a little different in taste, but they're all out there. Some red onion, some cherry tomatoes. You can also find grape tomatoes, grape on the vine, cherry on the vine. It doesn't really matter as long as they're the small ones and not the Romas or just large tomatoes. And then Meyer lemon, which is a very specific lemon because of the sweetness. And it gives a better taste to like lemonade and for cooking process. Rosa couldn't find it in the area. If you cannot find Meyer lemon, substitute regular lemon because this will make your dish tart. Just go to the seasoning aisle, find the McCormick's lemon pepper seasoning, and just marinate chicken for about 2 hours in that lemon pepper seasoning. You'll get the same result without using fresh lemon. But I was lucky enough to find 3 Meyer lemons, so we're going to go fresh. And then the chicken. Chicken breast, boneless, skinless, diced into small cubes to ensure that it's being cooked completely. The bigger the chicken, the longer it takes to cook. So if you're kind of in a rush, chop your chicken down to a nice regular sized portion and just cook it on high heat and work it that way. And also, if you are dealing with any raw chicken in the beginning, have your own tongs. These are cute little small ones we have in the kitchen. But designate tongs to certain raw items so you're not cross-contaminating because it can get dangerous. So be safe.
If you're a busy parent, one of the tips that you can do is get all the chicken, buy like in bulk, and then just pre-chop it and then freeze the rest. So that when you want to do your recipe, you can just defrost what you need.
That's smart. I don't do enough freezer. And I'm just going to be real. From the grocery store straight to the pan.
Yeah, I do that, but when you're a busy parent, it's just you don't have time to go to the store. So, you shop at the end of the week, you shop for the week, and then just freeze what you can, and that way you have the food ready at home.
And this is a perfect dish for that because if your chicken was already portioned and frozen, all you do is just gather your fresh. Some of these things we might have in our fridge. So take a look around. It doesn't always have to be bell pepper. It doesn't always have to be onion. It can be whatever you have. That's what I love about my recipes, that they're just small guidelines just to show you what you can do. So with a seasoned pan, we're using a kind of what is this, like a 3-inch shallow pan. You're going to want to preheat the pan and season it with oil. If you're not familiar with seasoning your pan, you can refer quick to Chef Sam, and I show you guys how to season the right pan to use and how to manipulate to make it not sticking. So I have a little bit of oil. I've been having this on medium heat, just letting the oil get familiar with the pan and creating a coat. And we're going to start with the chicken. And I'm using about a pound of chicken breast. And we're just going to have it in the pan. You don't want to have a hard sizzle because we're going to be creating sauce from this. And if you burn it at this point, your sauce is going to taste a little burnt. So just work it slow and low.
Oh, yay.
Yeah. So I'm just going to turn up and hit it with a little bit of salt and pepper to start, not much. And 3 tabs of butter.
I keep thinking, why do I want to cry? I have the onion right here.
You know, I cut these onions and I started crying. Two things the 2 reasons that I found: the ripeness of the onion and the sharpness of your knife. If your knife is dull, it's like pushing itself through the pores of the onion, which is releasing kind of mist in a sense. If you look at it
right now.
and this right here, they were probably a little bit of both. But that's the thing. Don't be afraid to use those things that are there. Cry a little bit. Cry now, and not the fact that you're throwing away your vegetables. So I have the chicken working with a little bit of butter. I have it on high heat or medium high, and I'm just going to work it until the chicken gets a little bit of color and it's cooked about 80% through. But in the meantime, I hope you guys have been finding these videos helpful that you might have along the way. You can always videos and even pause. My aunt actually looked us up, followed a recipe, and she said, I swear, when I had a time that I needed to take a breath, I just paused it, took a breath, because we kind of work fast on this, but it's all about preparation. As you can see, we're not doing this at home, you know what I mean? It's like in the fridge and stuff.
And feel free to ask questions. It could be about the ingredients we're using or just about the recipe or something else. If you have a different suggestion on how to change an ingredient and what it would do, go ahead and ask us.
Yes. And also, you know, farmers markets are changing vegetables. You know, we were really heavy on cauliflower and Brussels sprouts a couple months ago because that's in season. So, you know, kind of if you're comfortable though, ask the farmer what's coming next. You know, what can I look forward to? What are some vegetables that would be delicious right now? And yes, please. And 9 times out of 10, they'll probably tell you and give you the right direction to find the freshest vegetables. And that's what I love about the Central Valley. We're just packed with veggies. It's just to be able to get to them is the problem, you know. So I'm getting a little. I'm starting to get some moisture from the bottom. This is coming from the chicken and the butter. This is the key part, to let it work a little slower than usual because you don't want to burn the pan.
I do want to point out, since this pan was seasoned and none of it's sticking.
Yes, I'm going to show you. There's nothing sticking to the pan. That's a better one.
That's nice.
It just takes a little bit of time to understand these pans, but you get a better result when it comes to creating sauces. As opposed to Teflon, where it's coated black, you don't really get to see everything that's going on. So I recommend buying one and just kind of watching our videos and seeing how I use these pans. It's not as scary as you think. And I like to use anything in this that I don't have to clean as far as chicken. So we can buy a full chicken. If you like to use thighs, you can use thighs. But boneless, skinless seems to be the easiest thing at any market you can find.
Or if you want to save money, go ahead and buy the full chicken. And Chef Sam actually did a video for us where he showed us how to cut up a chicken.
Yes, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. So I've turned up my pan a little bit now that I know that I'm not going to risk burning the bottom. You can tell that you're at that point because it's sticking to the bottom. It's nice and clean. But Rosa, what is your favorite pasta? Are you a white sauce, a red sauce, a butter sauce?
Anything with butter.
Anything with butter. Oh well, you're in luck because that's pretty much this. And I only brought that up because there's so many different types of pastas out there. You don't always have to buy a can of marinara sauce, and you don't always have to do Alfredo sauce.
Yeah.
Butter and with a little bit of just love will give you that restaurant flavor without having to, open that can of marinara.
So something I learned recently was that Alfredo sauce is not how we actually think of it.
Okay.
Cream and all
Yes.
the cheese and everything. I may be wrong, but from the story that I heard was that originally it was just butter and cheese, Parmesan cheese. That's it.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
can see
was
that.
the sauce.
I have a book, and it's called Kitchen Confidential, I believe. But they talk about when sauces were created. And pesto, which I love pesto. I don't know if you love pesto. It was originated in the 1800s.
Oh, really?
And it was just basil and cheese.
That sounds good to me, too.
And now we look at the way pesto is now, and it's cheese, lemon, garlic, pine nuts, basil, oil.
Yeah.
It's funny to see how far we've come.
I actually, on one of the videos that we actually did a low-calorie Alfredo sauce.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So it cut the calories by like half.
Yeah. All right, so I'm starting to get a little bit of color. As you can see, things are starting to move now a little bit faster. I'm comfortable, and that's where you want to be at. Turn it down a little bit, but I'm comfortable because I don't see anything sticking to the bottom.
And it smells good.
And all it is chicken and butter right now.
But once it starts getting that color, it starts
the aroma,
changing,
yeah, the aroma changes. Okay, and I just want a little bit of color. Again, we're dealing with chicken breasts. You can risk it being overcooked and too dry. I think we've all experienced overcooked chicken breast. I know I have. So I'm gonna pull it and let it carry over. And carry over means that when you pull your protein from the heat, it's gonna continuously hold that heat for 2 to 3 minutes, and it's actually gonna rise in temperature by a few degrees. So if you know your food's at like 90% complete, like almost done, pull it and let it sit for about 5 minutes, and it's going to carry over and continue cook without overcooking.
Oh, that's good to know.
So I feel I'm comfortable with that. So I'm just going to put it in this other bowl as I create the sauce. And you want to scoot this chicken out and try to hold as much of the juice and the butter as possible, because this is what's going to make the sauce. Turn your heat back down a little bit, and we're going to start with the crybaby onions.
Sorry, it was there.
So I have about 2 onions. I'm going to throw about half of it in. And Rosa, would you throw the other half in this mixing bowl?
Yeah.
Don't cry too much.
It won't. Oh, wow.
So we're going to start with the onions first. And the reason why the onions are going to work in this application is to pick up all of the char on the bottom of the pan. And it's going to absorb that oil and butter. You can already see it starting to caramelize. So get that working first. Once all the oil is gone, throw in just a little bit more oil. You're not going to want to overcook the onions. You just want to get the color, and it'll happen. I mean, we're right there.
Something I do want to mention is when you cook the pasta, try to save some of the water.
And then, Rosa, would you add the rest into the big bowl? Okay. And you're going to notice that now when you're adding the vegetables, it's releasing its own moisture, and it's actually deglazing the pan a little bit. Now all that char you had from the chicken is pretty much gone, and you just have nice, pretty much like a fajita smell. Okay, as soon as they start to just get warmed up, you're going to add a good amount of garlic.
You can never have too much garlic.
You can never have too much garlic. Then we'll add the rest of this to the big bowl. Okay. And you're just going to want to stay on this I'm on a medium-high heat. You're just going to want to stay there this entire time. If you're not hearing enough sizzle, turn it up a little bit. But if you're hearing too much sizzle, turn it down. As soon as you smell the aroma of the garlic, which is right now, there's two things you can do. And I'm going to give you kind of I'm going to guide you into flavor a little bit. You can please save some of the pasta water. You can pour that to deglaze, or you can use a little bit of white wine. And if you want to hand me over the white wine, if you have just a bottle of white wine, awesome. If not, grocery outlet, $8. Experiment with a little bit of wine. I'm going to use wine. We're going to pour a little bit and let that deglaze go. While it's deglazing, you're going to want to cook your wine out completely. It's going to be very strong in the beginning. Don't add. You can always add. You can't take away. So start with a little bit of wine. And as soon as you start to see the wine cook down and evaporate a little bit, add in another 3 ounces of butter and just cook it. And this is what I love about these sauces. You're building it in layers as opposed to just opening up a jar and just pump. Like, we're infusing flavor and we're creating depth. And honestly, the smell of it smells like Olive Garden. Like, it smells like
better than Olive Garden.
Yeah, it smells like an Italian restaurant. So yeah, then you'll start to notice we have a new sauce that's forming on the bottom. And that's going to be the sauce. That's going to be our lemon pepper sauce. And this is just so amazing, though.
Like mesmerized.
I love it. All right, so we're going to let this cook down a little bit. You can, again, come with a little bit of salt. Not too much, but just a little bit of salt.
Can you remind our viewers what your ratio is for salt and pepper?
Yes. So I like to use a small bowl like this. Was this a little ramekin? And I'll probably do 3 tablespoons of pepper and then fill the rest up with salt. And just do a little. But if you like less pepper, 2 tablespoons. But since we're using pepper a little heavy in this application, I had a little bit more pepper. So then we have this nice butter goo mixing up right now. We're going to add our chicken back in. And then we're going to take a little bit of the pasta water. Create kind of like a little pool. And then we'll add the pasta.
Oh, sorry.
And it's all good. And I cooked off 1 box for about 9 minutes. If you look in the back of your box, all pastas are different. So pay attention to the cook time and pull it at the time, because I hate when I make a good amount of pasta at home and then the next day I microwave it or I reheat it and the pasta's overcooked. Cook it to what it say. This is about 9 minutes.
But make sure the water's boiling when you put it in there.
Yes. Yes. Okay. That's why I did it in this fashion, to kind of control the amount that goes into your pan. If you have a larger pan, you can obviously cook more. But in this, a few scoops, you don't want to mountain, because you still want to cook on the bottom and you still want everything to kind of get, warm. So work it in portions. There's nothing wrong with cooking 1 batch, putting it into a dish in the oven, and then cooking another one.
Yeah. We do? Any? Oh, no, on the computer. No questions though? Oh.
Okay. And you have just this nice little coat of just butter and just all the flavors that are rocking in here. What we're going to do now is just get this all mixed in and just everything moving around. It's a really simple dish, and it's just delicious because it's not super heavy, and that's what I love about it. As everything's reducing, we're going to add in some of the fresh lemon, and I'll take the juicer. And one thing about Meyer lemons is that they have a ton of seeds. So please don't just rock it in there because you'll get a ton of seeds. There's a lot of different ways you can squeeze a lemon. This is what we have here. I have one at the house. You're going to go pulp side in and squeeze it from the top.
If you're curious to know how to visually tell regular lemons by Meyer lemons apart, these are going to be smaller. They're going to be a little bit darker in color, and they're going to be more slick on the outside.
Yes. They're not going to be your traditional bright yellow lemon. And you can just smell. I'll have you.
Smell it.
It's very sweet. It's almost like lemonade.
I reminds me more of an orange.
Yeah, yeah.
Remember, they're less acidic and they're a lot more sweeter.
So I squeezed in 1 lemon for right now. And then at this point, we're almost done as far as what needs to be cooked. And I saved the cherry tomatoes and the dinner's ready, you know, like we're going to eat. You'll throw in your spinach. You'll do a quick toss, hit it with Parmesan, and we're calling it done. But before you reach that point, because that's like the very end, you want to be able to see that you got enough coat over your pasta. And I think we need more butter because you can't.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to throw the rest of the butter in. I use maybe 1/4 of a cup of butter, and I just cut it into squares to make it look like it's a lot, you know. But
So
yeah.
butter is about 4 tablespoons of butter.
Yes. Or 2 ounces if you melt it.
Right.
Okay. Butter pretty much melted immediately. I'm going to turn my heat off. I have a beautiful coat, very light pasta. This is what spring's all about, is eating the freshness and having that available. So we're going to add in half of the tomatoes, and you can throw that half in the big bowl. And you can actually throw the pasta in the big bowl too.
All of it?
Yeah. Maybe a little bit more because we all know spinach wilts down. So use this at the very end because if you do the spinach in the beginning, it's going to be small, it's going to be wilted, it's not going to have its same like brightness to it. So save spinach for last and just give it.
Spinach in here.
Yes, and we can throw spinach in there too.
Yay, spinach.
And you are going to want it to wilt, but not on high heat. You're just going to use the residual heat from the pasta, and you're just going to slowly fold it in and slowly work it until it's nice and wilted and incorporated, but not overcooked.
The colors are so.
And if you notice, I haven't added because I want to save that for when everything's in there. So watch your salt. Not everything needs handfuls and handfuls. You want to learn how to control that because this can be a low sodium meal.
Right.
And you can play with that by your own control.
And I'm glad you brought that up. I think we're used to salt at the beginning, salt what we're cooking, and then we get our food and then we salt at the end.
Yes.
So we add a lot of salt that is unnecessary.
Yes. But it's okay. You know, you have us to help you make that adjustment. It's steps. All wilted, but it's not overcooked. You still have leaves, but they're not going to be all small. This is pretty much where dinner's ready. So I'm going to give it one last. But before you do, make sure you try it. Would you grab 2 forks?
Yes.
Rosa's favorite part. And what you're going to do is just, if you want to jump into, you can. And you're going to ask yourself, does it need more salt?
Get a little bit of everything. Get the spinach. Okay.
I'm going to say it does need more salt. Not much. Just a little bit. See, I've acclimated the heat from the restaurant industry.
Oh gosh, I burned my tongue. It was really good.
Oh no, Rosa. All right. I'll try the next one.
I can still keep trying.
Stop it. Can I get one more new fork?
Oh, yeah.
And we'll just do a little bit more. Okay. All right. And I think where I see it at, I like where it's at. The spinach is starting to wilt, but it's still very green. And I just want to make sure it has enough salt, because that's the worst, is when you know it's not salted, but you're too late.
I didn't think it needed too much salt. Good.
Perfect.
Good.
Now that you know that it's salt ready, come with one more lemon and finish it off with that beautiful brightness of the Meyer lemon.
It has such a fragrant.
Yes. And then, so then we're ready for a plate up, and I'll show you that. Okay, pretty easy. And that's the pasta, guys. I mean, but if you're prepared, then we can just, do it right then. Can you hand me the tongs?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is where I come in.
Yes. And it's just beautiful because of the colors and the freshness. And we're not buying a can of this. This is something we made and we're proud of. And that's what cooking should be, especially during the springtime, is utilizing just the beautiful vegetables that we have available for us. It takes a lemon and a half to make this, is use the right lemon. So can't forget about the parmesan. And a little parmesan over the top. A little bit more because I know Rosa likes parmesan. And there it is, the springtime pasta. It's very home style. You don't have to use chicken if you don't want chicken. You can use shrimp. You can use chicken. You can use probably white chicken or fish. But yeah, that's it. There you go. And I'll hand it over to Rosa, but there was a reason. Oh, you can try it.
Oh, you want me to try it?
Yes, you can try it. You can try it. It is hot though, so be careful.
You want to get a bite of everything.
Fire.
That is good.
So if you guys have noticed, I've been having Rosa put into a big bowl all of our remaining ingredients. Why I did that is because this is a two-way meal. With any leftover pasta you have from any of the leftovers, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put them all into a big mixing bowl, hit it with a little bit of Parmesan. Oh, I need a fresh one. Boom. Okay, squeeze another Meyer in there. And what you're going to do is just grab any Italian dressing that you have, whether it doesn't matter, just Italian dressing. I picked up one that was just Italian dressing with cheese in it, and I'm just going to pour a good amount into the pasta. And if you're not one who likes hot pasta with lemon, please take this chance to make yourself a cold springtime pasta. And
the lemon goes really good with it, though.
Oh my gosh.
It's not acidic.
No.
It gives it like a fruity flavor.
Yes. And just like that, you can have yourself a hot chicken springtime pasta or a nice, beautiful, cold vegetarian pasta with just using two different things. Italian dressing was in this one and butter was in this. Everything else was the same. So experiment with your leftovers. It doesn't always have to be pasta, like hot pasta. You can have this ready for the kids the next day or just for you to go on the go. This is perfect for meal prep.
If you're lactose intolerant, this one might be okay for you because Parmesan has a very, very low content of lactose.
Yes. So then, Rosa, I will have you try this. I know. I didn't think you would mind at all. You're up. And we'll just go boom. And one more.
Okay.
There you go.
I get those pretty colors. Can you guys see that? Can you see that? Can you see that?
There it is.
Let's see.
And let me know. yes, this is a very vinegar, very salad-like. So if you are more on the go and you just have all these things in your house, you don't have time to cook, throw it all in a bowl, throw it with your favorite dressing, and just take it to go. And you will be just as satisfied. But that's what I wanted to show you. Happy spring, you guys. And I wanted to show you guys what to do with all the beautiful vegetables that we still have in our valley. But pretty easy. And yeah, right? Any questions? But again, thank you guys for tuning in. We love you guys here at Food Link. Please follow us, YouTube, Ask Rosa, Restaurant Flavors _ on Instagram. You can find me. Also, tune in on Quick Tips with Chef Sam. Find us.
And if you have any questions or suggestions for the next live, go ahead and put in the comments or shoot us a message. We'll be happy to do that for you guys. Yeah. Just let us know.
Till then, we're going to be chilling springtime. So you guys have a good one. I'm Chef Sam. This is Rosa. And thanks for tuning in. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you, guys.